So this is great. I was just watching video of Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker calling for the 25th Amendment to be invoked against Donald Trump. And he talked about how he's unhinged. He is probably suffering from dementia. He's getting worse, and he's a threat to the country. And so I'm going to play you just a small portion of what Governor Pritzker said. But then I really need to make some important points about this, because there's something that people really need to understand about the 25th Amendment. Anyway, watch this.
Note, the President of the United States is not sending troops into Republican cities or into Republican states. He's talked about it, but that's not what he's doing. He is focused on Democrats, and now he's made an enemies list. He's made a list of people that are his political opponents, and he's calling us domestic enemies. I mean, what kind of a country are we in here? The United States used to be a country where the president followed the Constitution, where the president believed in the rule of law, where the president didn't target people based on their views, but rather had debate with people and maybe won, maybe lost in an election and put their views forward and got them passed. But the idea that you're going to go suggest that you're going to arrest people or that people don't deserve to be U.S. citizens when they are, just because they oppose the President of the United States. And there is something genuinely wrong with this man, and the 25th Amendment ought to be invoked.
Okay, so I absolutely love to hear Governor Pritzker calling this man out and imploring people to do something about this. That this is not right, this is un-American, and this man should not be president. And he's talking about taking action to strip him of his power. And I absolutely support that. More people should be calling for this. I mean, the number of impeachable offenses and outright crimes that he has committed just since taking office in January, the fact that not everyone is talking about how do we remove this guy from office it's an illustration of how screwed up this country is, because we would not have tolerated virtually any of this from any other president. Anyway, but there's something that I really need to address about the 25th Amendment, because can we all agree, let's agree on something real quick. What really should happen to Donald Trump is that he should be impeached and removed from office. That, we can agree on that, right? That is what should happen to him. Now, people aren't talking about that because we've tried it twice, it didn't work, but just because we've tried it twice and it's failed doesn't mean it couldn't work a third time. But we've been down that road, it didn't work. People understand how difficult it is to impeach and remove a president, and obviously impeachment alone in the House is not enough. You also have to get that conviction vote in the Senate, where you need 2/3 of the senators to vote to convict him. And we understand that it's, given the fact that this is a Republican-controlled Congress, it seems like an impossibility. So people are talking about, well, what else can we do? And while I don't see anyone really calling for his impeachment and removal, I see people bringing up the 25th Amendment a lot. And I'm not opposed to that. I'm certainly not opposed to people talking about how do we get rid of this guy? How do we remove this man from office? So I'm all for that. Here's the problem. Impeachment is really the only way to get him out of office. And that's what I want to talk about. Because the truth is, most people who talk about the 25th Amendment don't actually.
What if Trump wanted the government shut down all along? So here's a thought. Trump promised today he's going to fire thousands of additional federal workers in revenge for the government shutdown. Except Trump's already fired thousands of federal workers. That's what he wants. That's what he's been doing. That's his goal all along, is to fire as many federal workers as possible. So is it possible that this federal shutdown happened not in objection to Donald Trump, but because this is exactly what Donald Trump wanted? I mean, think about it. If he's getting what he wants out of the shutdown, if he claims it gives him extraordinary powers to fire all the federal workers and shut down tons of programs that he claims help Democrats, basically it means help anybody who's less than rich. Isn't that exactly what he wanted? So yeah, so Trump today is now saying thousands of workers he's going to fire. He reiterated the threat that they're going after Democratic projects. We're going to see what that means. Could be entire agencies, could be God knows what. A couple of Republicans are actually speaking up, which is kind of amazing. Several Republicans in the Senate and the House, only several, have said, no, we don't want you really doing that, but good luck because these guys never have the backbone to stand. But again, what if this is what Trump wanted all along?
Finally, we're talking about the 25th Amendment. The governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, has said that he's concerned for Trump's health, and he's talking about invoking the 25th Amendment to remove Trump from office. Frankly, I think anyone who watches Trump speak for more than 20 seconds would be concerned for his health. It's not just that. I think it's clear that his cognitive decline makes him unable to do the job of the presidency. We're also witnessing repeated illegal and unconstitutional actions by the president. He's been sending the National Guard into democratically run cities despite crime being down. And this week he told military leaders that the military is going to be sent into US cities as a training ground. You can't just sick the military on the American people. We have a word for that. It's treason. A few days ago, we also saw Trump share this AI-generated video of himself talking about medbed hospitals that don't exist. Medbeds are a far-right conspiracy theory where people think that the government is hiding this medbed technology that can cure any illness, and only the rich and elite are able to use them. And Trump reposted this AI-generated video of himself saying that all Americans are getting medbeds. So he's so confused that he doesn't understand that A, medbeds are not real, and B, that he never gave that interview talking about medbeds. He saw an AI video of himself, and did he think it was real? How can we trust that a person like that has the mental capacity to do this job? We can't. This is what the 25th Amendment is for. And these are just recent examples off the top of my head. Trump has repeatedly violated the Constitution, and he demonstrates on like a daily basis that he does not have the cognitive function to do this job.
Donald Trump is not going to be removed via the 25th Amendment. We can just read the relevant section in the amendment. Whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments, that's the cabinet, or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the President pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the Vice President shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the office as acting President. The only way for Trump to be 25th is if J.D. Vance and half the cabinet do it. And even if they do, the amendment continues to say that the President can write a letter to the Senate that's like, actually, I'm fine, and then that's the end of it. If the Vice President then wants to push it, then Congress takes up the case. They have, I think, 21 days to consider removal, and that requires 2/3 of both houses. J.D. Vance and half the cabinet are not going to 25th Donald Trump. I understand what Pritzker is saying, and I agree with him, that Trump is obviously deep in dementia and completely unwell, and doesn't probably even know what day of the week it is. That's not going to change anything. I've had some people ask if Democrats winning in the midterms means that we could 25th him. Also, no. The only thing that Democrats winning the midterms would do is give us a majority in the House to vote to impeach him. We would also need 2/3 of the Senate to remove him from office, to convict him of that impeachment, and that is very unlikely to happen. Unless he dies, he is president until 2029.
So Trump posted this today. I have a meeting today with Russ Vought, he of Project 2025 fame, to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut. Now, I remember last year when MAGA was all up in my comments being like, Trump doesn't know anything about Project 2025. That's not his plan. And here's Trump right here. I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who is behind it. Trump didn't know who was behind it so hard that he made who was behind it his OMB director. And here are some other things Trump said about Project 2025.
Some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. They are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it.
I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it.
Project 2025, I've said 100 times, I know nothing about it. I had nothing to do.
And we knew he was lying the whole time. We lived through the constant gaslighting from Trump and MAGA. And now today, he fully acknowledges Project 2025 and is using one of the masterminds behind it to help decide these cuts, which are going to be based on Project 2025.
Donald Trump is considering giving $2,000 stimulus checks to every single American because of the tariffs. Now, this is going to be huge for the overall macro economy and the stock market. The last time we handed out stimulus checks, I put all of my money into XRP and a lot of these altcoins, and the entire crypto market went on like its biggest bull run ever in 2021. Now, this is possible because the tariffs have brought in hundreds of billions of dollars. And the plan is to use this to start paying off the United States $36 trillion in debt. I mean, we're on our way to start making over $1 trillion a year in tariffs alone, which gives us a really good trajectory to actually pay off the U.S. debt. And all this depends on for this stimulus check is going to be congressional approval. Now, of course, we know the Democrats that are currently in Congress hate Americans and they don't want Americans to have free money. They'd probably rather give this to illegal immigrants. But let me know in the comments, do you believe this is bullish or bearish for the overall crypto market? I personally believe if this happens next year, towards 2027, you're going to see a massive run-up in a lot of your crypto.
They're about to lay off people in droves. Russ Vought, the director of the Office of Budget Management, just came out and said they are about to start laying off people in droves. Mind you, Russ Vought also is an author of Project 2025. So this guy is we're already not a fan, regardless of him laying off a ton of people just because they want to stick it to the Democrats. This hurts. This sucks. We don't want people to lose their jobs. This is the only lever Democrats have left to pull to save our democracy and our freedom. This is important. We must stand strong in this moment, and we must stand firm. We must stand united, and we must let our representatives in Washington know, in the Senate, you cannot fold. You cannot fold because we cannot just allow 20 million Americans to lose their health care so we can give $1 trillion worth of tax cuts to Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. We can't do it. We won't stand for it. We must stand strong. We must hold the line. My name is Kyle and I'm running for Congress in the 2nd District of Connecticut because, well, quite frankly, I don't feel represented by my representative, even though they're a Democrat. Some of the things they're voting for would make your head spin. If you like my opinion, if you like what I'm talking about, please follow along. Please go to my website, kylegauk.com. You can donate to the campaign. You can sign up to volunteer for the campaign. You can sign up for the campaign's free mailing letter. It comes out every Thursday. It's email. And as always, if you made it this far, thank you. I love you, and we'll definitely talk soon.
You tired of all this winning yet? Because there's a lot of winning going on.
It's too much winning.
Hey, I'm starting to love the shutdown. Guess what? Just now, the Energy Department got rid of, get this, 321 Biden-era Green New Scam projects totaling $7.5 billion. Gone. That's because of the shutdown. And here's what they did. They said, hey, 26% of these were canceled awards, that they canceled 26% of them, valued at over $3.5 million, were handed out between Election Day and Inauguration Day. These were lame duck gimmies to their friends. This is unbelievable how they waste our money as Biden was leaving office. Now, the department didn't list what was scrapped, but they said it was $7.5 billion, cut, gone, never to be seen again. Ooh, let's take a look at the list of states that were getting these. You ready? California, blue. Colorado, blue. Connecticut, blue. Delaware, blue. Hawaii, blue. Illinois, blue. Maryland, blue. Massachusetts, blue. Minnesota, blue. New Hampshire, blue. New Jersey, blue. New Mexico, blue. New York, blue. Oregon, blue. Vermont and Washington, all blue. So
I'm afraid I just blew myself.
So all the Harris states got the scam money, which is now gone. I'm getting to love this shutdown. Now, here's what else is going on. In Virginia, fasten your seatbelts, baby. We got a horse race. New poll out in Newsmax today. You can see it on the Virginia Star. Go to thevirginiastar.com. Winsome Sears, written off for dead just a few months ago, down by 17, down by 20, now down by, you ready? 3. That's within the margin of error. Winsome Earl Sears surging over Abigail Spanberger in this race, who has basically ran the Joe Biden sit and do nothing campaign. The basement cannot answer the question, and Spanberger in big trouble. A 20-point lead now down to 3 as we got about 5 weeks to go. Winsome Earl Sears is going to win this race, no question about it. Here's the other thing. She's getting 22% of the black vote. That is held. She gets 22% of the black vote. She's governor. Let me tell you the other thing. They need to get 40% of the Washington, D.C. Metro Vote, that's Northern Virginia. Right now, that's where they're tracking. This is the Sears campaign. And if you look at the early voting for Republicans in Virginia in their precincts is off the charts, way over expectations. Republicans are motivated. They're coming out. They're early voting. Hey, got a news flash. Winsome Earlsey is going to win this race. Then you go to New Jersey, and that's tied. Jackie Sherrill's going down the tubes. We're going to win Virginia. We're going to win New Jersey. So much winning.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more.
I want your comments here. All you got to do, follow me on all social media, at JF Radio Show. So much fun. At JF Radio Show, you make your comments here. I'll read them all. And you can share this with your friends. I'll see you tomorrow, 6 to 10 a.m. across our network and on Smart TV. See you then.